Hi guys. So today I want to talk about pornography. I'm going to talk about the dangers of pornography, how it's awful for you, as well as how it's an addiction. I find that men are very emotionally attached to this subject. They have quite a bit of cognitive dissonance when it comes to this subject. Um, it's crazy. Like you ask any man to stop watching porn for a month, and they can't do it. They can't. To any women watching this stream right now, um, ask your man to quit porn for 1 month. He won't be able to do it. I remember once I brought up this subject to somebody and I said like, hey man, like you know porn's bad for you. Like you shouldn't be doing that. And he's like, oh yeah, well, I could stop showering too, but why would I want to do that? I'm like, man, you're in deep. You're in so deep. Like the chains. Oh, they got you, man. Like they got you. Sad. It's really sad. See, the thing is that people think pornography is just something that's naughty. Like it's so much deeper than that. Pornography is probably the most beta submissive thing that a man can do. Like when you use pornography, you have to think about what you're really doing. You are looking at a screen, pleasuring yourself, looking at a man have sex with a woman. Like once you actually wrap your head around the fact of what you're doing and just how submissive and beta it is to perform that act, to watch pornography, it just scares you. It makes you want to never watch it again. And here's the scary fact. Studies show that kids as early as 10 years old are seeking pornography. And I mean, let's use our brains here, guys. Like 5-year-olds have iPhones now, so it's probably earlier than that. But let's say 10 years old. So you're 10 years old and you are seeking pornography. Like these kids aren't looking at, Playboy or something, like just still photographs. Like it's 2020, guys. Like these kids are watching high speed, hardcore pornography. Like they're kids, man. Their dopamine receptors are at their peaks. Their brains are ridiculously malleable. So scary what these kids are being exposed to. Like you have kids that are just starting puberty and just learning what sexuality is for the first time in their lives, and this is what they're getting. Like that trains your brain. That completely brainwashes you. And your brain in that stage when you're that young is so open to addiction. Like people got to wake up. I mean, when we talk about pornography, we got to think about the Coolidge Effect. I thought the Coolidge Effect was super interesting. So it's when you take mammals, for example, you can take lab rats. You put a male lab rat and a female lab rat in a cage, and they'll do what you expect them to do. But you can keep replacing that female lab rat with another female lab rat, and you can keep replacing it over and over, and the male will continue to mate with the new female over and over again until it literally falls over exhausted. You just keep going because you're constantly giving yourself something that's new. There was a study done on rams, and if you give a ram one female mate and stick it with that female, it will eventually last longer when it does intercourse because it loses attraction to the female. But if you keep giving the ram a new female every single time, the ram will just like the rat be able to go again and again and again until it becomes exhausted. Or what else is interesting is the fact that when we orgasm, our brains, with the amount of dopamine going on in there, the dopamine rush, mimic somebody who is on cocaine or heroin, like the reward circuitry that's going on up there. So then you have to think like, it's a drug. It's straight up a drug. And you know why it's a drug is because it's always in your pocket. It's free and it's unlimited. There's always new material. It's always new. It's always stimulating. It's always there. And once you realize like that pornography is a drug and that almost everybody is addicted to it, and people just have too much cognitive dissonance to even realize it. It's sickening. It's very sad. And then people say, well, like, yeah, sure, but like, why quit? Like, oh, I don't really care. Why quit? It's like, man, you're going to be a husband one day. Are you gonna marry the girl of your dreams and continue to use pornography? The most beta submissive thing that you could probably do. One day you're gonna be a father. Like, think about it, guys. Are you still gonna be masturbating when you have kids? Are you gonna be viewing pornography in a private room when you in the same house as your kids? Like, come on, guys. It's disgusting. Don't like who wants to be that person? Or I think the worst of it is when you have guys that say, "Yeah, well, my girlfriend uses pornography as well, so it's not a big deal to me." It's like you're. This is where the brainwashing comes in. It's like you are so brainwashed to be submissive that you don't even care that the girl that you quote unquote love is watching pornography, is stimulating yourself on something that isn't you, and you're just fine with it. You don't care. Like that's how brainwashed you are from it, that you don't even care. Like, come on, if you want to be a real man, you can't watch pornography. And if me talking about pornography makes you uncomfortable, you're probably not mature enough to even have this conversation. It's sad, man. Most men don't know that they're addicted, but they can't go more than a week without it. It's sad, it's scary, but it's the reality that we have.